Sir Chris Hoy, an absolute mountain of a man. 11 times world champion, 6 times Olympic champion, and legs bigger than any tree I've ever seen. In his prime, he could outsprint anyone and was said to have generated power of up to 2,700 watts. That's enough to power 2 toasters. Okay, that doesn't sound like much, but if you've ever gone all out in a sprint and have a power meter, you'll know how ridiculous that amount of power is. A knight of the realm, a British icon, a sporting hero. And then, well, there's me. A 29-year-old average cyclist from Leeds who loves Nutella. Today, I'm going to attempt to get as close to Sir Chris Hoy's max power as possible. Note the word attempt, just to see how a slightly above average cyclist compares to someone like Sir Chris Hoy. Okay, so that's the plan. But before we go through how I'm going to set up the challenge to give myself the best possible chance of seeing if I can power maybe at least 1 toaster, let's go through some stats, just to belittle myself even more. In his prime, Chris Hoy, 92 kilos, or 203 pounds for you Americans, of lean muscle. Myself, coming in a little bit under that, and probably less of that lean muscle. Height, Chris Hoy, 185 centimetres, or 6'1". Myself, 6'3", or 190 centimetres. That's probably the only time I'll beat Chris Hoy ever. Thigh circumference, Chris Hoy, 27 inches, me, 23 inches. Max power, Chris Hoy, between 2,500 and 2,700 watts. Crazy numbers, that's essentially 2 toasters. Apparently, a toaster takes around 1,200 watts to power. My max power, obviously, that's what we're finding out in this video. I'm hoping though, it's at least 1 toaster, 1,200 watts. And just for my general level of cycling fitness, at the moment, my FTP is about 322 watts. Not that that's gonna help me today whatsoever. Okay, stat attack over. Let's go through how I'm gonna set up this challenge to give myself maximum chance to get the highest power I possibly can. Similar to my last challenge where I tried to hold Bradley Wiggins' hour record power as long as I could, we're going to do this indoors on Zwift, so it's nice and controlled. I'm going to give myself a thorough warm-up, around about 20 minutes with a couple of sprints just to switch everything on. Not only will I be tracking the ride on Zwift, but I'll also track it on my Garmin as well, just so we've got 2 sets of power so we can see which one reads the highest. For the sprints themselves, I'm going to try to do 3 5-second sprints, all out as hard as I possibly can with a good bit of rest in between each sprint. And whichever sprint has the highest number, that's where I'm at. Once I've finished my attempts, we'll sit back down here and analyse the data to 1, see how far away I was from Chris Hoy's power, and 2, see if I managed to muster enough power from my legs to power at least 1 toaster. Remember, that was 1,200 watts. Okay, I've put it off long enough. Gonna go get changed, and then we'll see how much power a slightly above average cyclist can muster. Well, that was pretty tough, and we'll go through what my peak power was in just a second, do not worry. But there were so many things that I had to get right there that I didn't think would sort of factor into the equation or even have any impact, such as what gear do I choose to start off with, at what power do I start my sprint at, how much rest do I give myself between the sprints. And on one of the sprints as well, I was squeezing the handlebars so hard I actually changed gear a couple of times as well, so that wasn't ideal. So I'm pretty sure I could have done a little better, but enough with the excuses. It is what it is. After looking at the power on Zwift, I can see that my peak power was achieved in the second sprint. You might have just seen this on the middle sprint in the video, but my peak power was 1,401 watts. So a massive 1,300 under Chris Hoy's peak power, which is just crazy. And it just shows how elite and powerful those professional sprinters are. Over double what I got. Good news though, I managed enough watts to power that toaster, at least for a second anyway. Obviously I'll have to hold that for 3 minutes to actually toast the bread. I know 5-second power is also a key metric in cycling and is something a lot of people look to improve, and I think I managed around 1,337 watts maximally for the 5-second period when I was doing those sprints. But do let me know, what's your peak power? Let me know in the comments below. I know what some of the pros can do, but I have no idea what an average person, or maybe slightly above average cyclist, can achieve over a 5-second period or maximally in a sprint. Peak power isn't necessarily something I'm training for. I'm currently training to try and get a 400 watt FTP by the end of the year, as crazy as that sounds. Who knows if I'll get there, but that's kind of what I'm aiming for at the moment. So I'm doing some longer rides and more threshold based rides. Definitely not peak power stuff like I did today. But do let me know, what's your peak power in the comments below? Maybe a couple of us combined could beat Chris Hoy. If you enjoyed today's video, please do subscribe for more, and feel free to watch this video here where I try to hold Bradley Wiggins's hour record power for as long as I can. And well, the result is pretty much the same as today's video. See you guys in the next one.